a very long time to be in partnership with the government and people of Ghana. What has that journey been like for the EP Church?
Yeah, it's really been good to talk about this at this time as we celebrate the 175th anniversary. Since 1847, when the Bremen Mission arrived in Ghana and started its work in Peki Blango, and since then spread to other parts of the country, the church has been a partner with various successions of government in the development of our dear country. I will fast forward to this last 100 years or so, where the visible signs of schools, hospitals, clinics, agricultural stations are some of the things that you see dotted all over the country. Many people think it's only the Volta region, but indeed, while we are saturated in the Volta region, we have these dotted all over the country, and these are some of the things that we have done with our understanding that presenting the gospel, which is our core mandate, includes ensuring that the lives of our people be enhanced. And so these are some of the achievements we've had.
I'm sure it hasn't been an easy road, and you've experienced and encountered many challenges.
Yes.
Tell us about some of those.
Yes. Again, the early forebears of our dear church, when the Germans started, it was quite a difficult road at the beginning, but I'm very glad that out of their vision, some of the first few Africans who were ordained and who took leadership, like the first ordained person was Rudolph Mallet, the first ordained indigenous person. Later, around the 1920s, when we had indigenous leadership of the whole church, including Reverend Andreas Aku as the first moderator of the church. And since then, we've had that leadership take up the challenges of the day in such a way that you wouldn't think, at that time, in the colonial era, they wouldn't think Africans could, and have led the way in terms of ensuring that we know that there is competence in African leadership.
So the challenges have evolved and the solutions have evolved with the times.
Exactly.
And now it's 175
yes.
years. The theme, I'm told, is a journey of 175 years in ministry, achievements, challenges, and the way forward. What are some of the activities you are having?
We, this very Sunday coming, we are launching the anniversary publicly. We've been celebrating it all year, but this Sunday at the Accra International Conference Center, that will take place. We have seen that at this age, a very long-tested logo itself needs to have a renewed appearance. And so on this Sunday, that will be relaunched as well. We'll be ensuring that people are aware of what I call this gentle giant the EP Church has done, because most of the things we've achieved have been on the quiet side. Many people don't actually know. So we're hoping that through joining us in this launching, many will know what this gentle giant of the EP Church Ghana has achieved.
Give us a few examples of what the church has achieved that we may not know about if we are not members of the church or even in leadership.
So I did mention in the health sector, in the education
schools,
sector,
hospitals,
and agri stations, and so on. We have also contributed much personnel to the development of this nation. One would not want to boast much about the fact that many members of the EP Church have, out of the faith that they've been nurtured in the EP Church, contributed in many national positions in our nation. I want to name, for example, the First Lady to have served in what is now our Supreme Court, Justice Annie Baita Giage. Is a strong member of the EP Church, and during her lifetime has contributed both locally in Ghana and internationally, and has been part of the ecumenical movement as well. So we have the name of Ghana has been taken all kinds of places by members, and if we had time, I could list quite a number of people more.
That could very easily take us the whole day. But when it comes to the role of the church in general, and perhaps as we wrap, do you think that the church has done enough, the EP Church, for example, has done enough to shape the consciousness of the nation? We are in a time where we are confronted with issues of corruption. We are confronted with issues of activism for LGBTQI plus rights, people's perceptions of misgovernance, and a plethora really of issues facing the Ghanaian persons, and people feel that the church really should be more vocal on some of these topics. Do you think that you've done that creditably?
Yes. No, thank you very much for that question, because indeed the church is also there as an instrument in the consciousness and the conscience of the nation. And when the country is going well, the church pats whoever is leading at the back. But when things are challenging, it is the role of the church to speak and speak out forthrightly and clearly. I believe through the years, the church has done that. And not only in terms of saying it out in public. I've called ourselves the gentle giant because even behind the scenes, whatever we do in terms of challenging any government of the day, using channels available to us, the successive moderators of our church, like the current, the Right Reverend Lieutenant Colonel BDK Agbaku, has been on record to have challenged some of the things going on. You mentioned specifically some of the LGBTQ plus
activism.
Issues, and indeed not only the church leadership, but from the pulpits.
There's been issues of money rituals, increased cases of violent crimes, especially with armed weapons. So many, even security issues confronting the people, and the public expects the church to speak about them.
Yes, like many other churches which are very active in this, the EP Church has played its part in ensuring that awareness is created around this and challenge goes to where it needs to go. I even want to include, your list didn't include some of the ways in which some sectors of the church itself has, through their extremism, being contributed to some of the corruption from within. And as church, we need to also challenge ourselves. And yes, I must say, in spite of all those extremist activities, the EP Church has remained solid in what our focus is, proclaiming the gospel in a way that also affects the people of this nation. I do want to indicate one more thing around this. I remember a few years ago, actually a few decades ago, when the regional capital of the Volta region was facing water problems. It was the EP Church which produced a solution to it. And in many other ways, our church has indeed shown that we are indeed partners for development in our nation. I pray that all of us continue to watch out for all these activities. When you asked, we're going to have the big celebration mainly in November with a float from Accra to Peki, with a Deba of chiefs and the Christian people of Ghana. We expect there to be a big celebration around then. We'll also have some media events in September, as well as a public lecture.
We'll look forward to being present at all those events. Thank you, Reverend Doctor, for inviting us to 100 years of your ministry and the opportunity to hear 175 years, and giving us an opportunity to listen to the achievements and how you've overcome the challenges in that ministry. Thank you for making the time. Reverend Dr. Setri Nyomi is a senior clergy of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church, Ghana. He's been here to invite me and all of you to the 175 anniversary of the EP Church. The launch is this Sunday at the Accra International Conference Center. Big celebrations expected in November with a Deba and a float, and also a lecture in the making. we'll also expect some media engagement, and we'll keep you posted as to what happens on that front. And here on GTV Breakfast, we are wrapping up the show for today. Tomorrow we'll be back with the Friday edition, and we'll be very happy to be going into the weekend. Enjoy the rest of our programs on GTV. We'll be linking up to our guys on the ground at the Parliament House, listening in on conversations between the Public Accounts Committee and the institutions invited to present their cases. And we'll be back tomorrow, as I said. Do take care of yourself and be safe out there. Bye-bye.